And it looked like we were watching a game from the 90s. All of a sudden, we had Pat Riley's Knicks out there with this physical 86-83 game last night. Nets, Bucks. What is the number one takeaway from that night for you?
Well, the number one take is that, you know what, listen, I'm being a bit facetious here because Bruce Brown has had a great season and he's doing a lot of good things for the Brooklyn Nets. I'm just being a little bit emotional here from this perspective. You know what? You almost lucky you got a ride back to the hotel. You do not take the last shot. You do not, and I understand that it was a shot before Kevin Durant ultimately. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when he drove into the lane and took that layup instead of finding Kevin Durant, who had just scored 7 straight points. Now, I have no idea why Coach Steve Nash had a play design where Kyrie and Bruce Brown were there together or whatever. Get the ball to KD or get the ball to Kyrie. And Kyrie's the secondary option, and the way KD was flowing, it's the first option. I don't give a damn what's going on. You find a way to get Kevin Durant that basketball, period. And that definitely showed his youth, inexperience, or just blasphemy. That's number one. Number two, again,
this is the play, by the way, that
that's
you're...
right.
Oh, no, that's the last shot.
That was the last shot.
Yeah,
that was the last shot. The play before that was when Bruce Brown drove into the lane. Secondly, and more importantly, I'm not overly excited about what I'm seeing from Milwaukee. Giannis is really struggling from the perimeter. He's been horrid from the free throw line. Last night was another example of that. Khris Middleton showed up big time, made a couple of big time shots down the stretch. That's what he has to do in order to give you a chance. To me, it's nothing. I mean, a win is a win, and that's good. And you got yourself a series because it's still 2-1, and they can notch it up 2-2. But what they did last night is not going to cut it because you're not holding the Brooklyn Nets to 83 points again. That is clearly an aberration. Kyrie Irving didn't take a shot for the last 4 minutes and 22 seconds, if I remember correctly. You think that's going to happen again? I don't think that's going to happen again. So they lucked up. They got a win. Good for them. I hope they tie it because I like a thrilling series, but I've seen nothing that tells me this is going to be a thrilling series.
You know, I tried to give some credit to Giannis and Khris Middleton, saying they were so questioned after Game 2, and rightfully so, and then they bounced back. And Kendrick yelled at me at the beginning of this hour. He said, what are you talking about? That's what they're paid for. They're supposed to be superstars. So what do we say about Giannis and Middleton after their performance last night?
That they're not KD and Kyrie, period. They're not KD and Kyrie, and there's no shame in that because KD and Kyrie are elite. Kyrie is the best show in basketball. He is simply box office. He's an electrifying talent. In the case of KD, he's the greatest offensive player in the game today and may go down when all is said and done as top 2 all-time in history in terms of what he brings to the table on the offensive side of the ball. 6'11" with a 7'6" wingspan, got to handle a mid-range game, a long-range game, hits 85% or better from the free throw line. This brother is just something special, and we know that. In the case of the Milwaukee Bucks, you're highlighting, and here's where the crime comes in. To see Steph Curry and how he's helped transform the game, to see what Steve Nash did before him in terms of being that point guard in Phoenix, who was an offensive firepower because Mike D'Antoni's system and Steve Nash's ability to hit perimeter shots. You see Damian Lillard, how big time he is because of his ability to hit perimeter shots. There simply is no excuse for a player in the NBA to go year after year after year when you're a primary scoring option and you have no perimeter game whatsoever. I'm looking at Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm looking at guys like Ben Simmons. These are incredible talents, big-time talents, no question about it. But come playoff time, you know you can back off of them, that they are simply close to no threat whatsoever from beyond 15 feet. In Ben Simmons' case, beyond 5 feet. So, I mean, it's a problem. And when you know that, and when you get paid, and to speak to Kendrick Perkins' point, when you get paid, particularly the exorbitant amount of money, understand it's not about your paycheck. It's about the fact that that paycheck allows you to be able to concentrate on nothing else because you don't have to worry about paying your bills. You don't have to worry about making a living. You don't have to worry about generations being able to make a living off of the money that you're getting. All you're paid to do is to play and to improve and elevate your game. How in God's name, year after year after year, the same malady that has plagued your game does not change? There's no excuse for that. And that's where you look at a guy like the Greek Freak and you look at a guy like Ben Simmons and you say, what are you doing? You can't get some kind of perimeter shot? Do you not see the league and the way it has shifted over the last decade plus? You see the direction that we're going in. Everybody, MJ, Kobe, even LeBron James, they all improved their perimeter game because they understood the direction the game was flowing in. You got to know that and do something about it. And we've seen no evidence, especially come postseason time, that the Greek Freak and Ben Simmons have done that.